Greetings! It is I, the Fiendish Dr. Phil, coming to you for another installment of From the Lab. And it's Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day, everybody. I've been working on quite a few things. I'm finishing about 20 heads right now and 3 sets of hands. Trying to get caught up with everything to orders taken in this year. And I'm making steady progress. The Fluffy sculpture, I think it's about 90% done, and I'll show you it in a minute. There's been so many people ask me about the Blackula mold, and I looked and I looked and I looked, and I actually thought that I'd found it, but it wasn't the Blackula mold. It was a mold that I'd made for a puppet. We did these puppet creature things for Toxic Avenger the musical when they were mounting it to go to Broadway here in town. And I thought that I'd found the Blackula mold, but it was one of those puppet heads from that. So I have decided to do a resculpt of the Blackula piece, and I'm going to call it Scream Blackula Scream. And I went in and I pulled my reference last night. So I'll begin laying the clay on it while I'm working on these commissions, just like I worked on the penguin. So I'm taking, if you want one, let me know. Quite a few of you have, and if you haven't and you want one, just send me an email or something and I'll put you on the list, okay? So let's take a look at the Fluffy sculpture. As you can see, the forms are all there. It's really nice. I'm really pleased with it. Got the snarl just right. Looks like the mechanisms are working underneath it. The teeth are just about the right size. I still got some fine-tuning to do on them, and I'm working on making sure the eyes are level and all of that stuff. And then I'll spray coat it with the acrylic sealer and put the texture on it. Now, I normally don't texture my busts a lot. Something that Henry Alvarez taught me is doing these kinds of things is not about the texture like it is when you're doing prosthetics. But because this character has a lot of texture, and it was from a movie, I'm going to go ahead and match the textures on it. Well, today I was getting in the eye bin because I was looking for some fish eyes because I'm working on the first lagoon creature. And I found some glass eyes that I think will work really well for Fluffy. And if I can get the glass eye people to duplicate them, that would be great. But see, it's got that cat eye pupil. That would be just nice for the glass eyes on the Fluffy thing. I'm still about 2 weeks away from molding him and molding the penguin. I've got to finish out the things that I'm working on in the front end before I can make the molds. And speaking of that, let's go to the front end and see what I've been up to. See, I am at work on quite a few things. I'm working really hard to get all these things done, but make sure they're quality pieces. I should have these leprechauns good to go in a week or so. They need foam filling. They're ready for foam filling now. I did the overbasing and set their eyes in yesterday, so they're ready for foam filling, final paint, and then the hair work on them. So another week they'll be ready to ship out. And everything is coming along. I'm real pleased with the progress that I've made on all this stuff. I did get those molds made for the acrylic inserts. This is for the the Repossessed, a nice long demon tongue, and these are the Carolyn. You know, I've just got those nicely made. I worked on those over the weekend. The Evil Ed mouths, and what's this? Barnabas Collins. So was able to get those done. And while I was doing that, I found my glow-in-the-dark acrylic, and since I'm working on the lagoon creatures and doing it as the monogram Aurora creature from the Black Lagoon model kit, because this was sculpted for a stage production of The Nerd. Wasn't ever really intended for anything other than that, but the head is so rounded compared to the actual creature, it matches the sculpture on this pretty darn closely. I mean, you would think that I actually was sculpting that, you know, to be that. And I found my glow-in-the-dark acrylic, because in the Aurora kit, this is the monogram re-release, but in the Aurora kits they offered the head and the hands in glow-in-the-dark. So I thought I would finish up a shop copy, at least, with glow-in-the-dark paint over it and glow-in-the-dark teeth, and see what that might look like. So I'm going to do that. And if any of you guys are interested in that, just let me know. I'm making 3 of them, and as long as I have the mold out, I will tell you that, as long as I have the mold out, I'll still make you a copy. But once I put the mold back in storage, that's it. That's when it's truly, you know, it's like when Noah barred the door on the ark. No more getting in. So that's the way that'll go. But I was real tickled with that. I think it's going to be real nice. And that's what I was in the eye bin for, was looking for the fish eyes. I'm going to have to get some nice piranha eyes to go on them. But everything's coming along. These guys are turning out exceptionally well. I mean, that mold is just trashed to all get out, but it's still producing nice copy. I don't have to do any dremeling of mold wear on them at all. All I do is take the seams off and fix that gap from where it had warped. So goodness gracious, that mold's 15 years old, and as many times as it's been run, it's still making quality pieces. Very, very, very nice. And I am going to have to load in the good plaster for these other things that I'm going to be molding, because I'm just having to. The werewolf, the Dark Shadows werewolf, I'm down to the last 2 runs on it, and it's a pull for David Lady and my personal copy for the shop. And the mold wear on it is just atrocious. Luckily, on that werewolf, it's wearing on areas that are covered with hair, not on the skin area. So that's saving me a lot there. But the Ultracall is just crap. It's just not good for making molds anymore. But anyway, as you can see, things are coming along. Now, Melissa, who shoots these videos, is starting her busy season at the dance studio. It's recital season, so and that's out in Baytown, which is about an hour away from here. So she may not be able to come in every week to shoot it from the lab for me. So if there's not a consistent from the labs until the end of June, that's why. But you can always keep up with me on the Facebook, the Fiendish Dr. Phil Facebook page. I post pictures as often as I can whenever there's something interesting to show. I also post just verbal updates, you know, drained this, molded that, demolded, whatever. And then, of course, my Facebook page, Phil Nichols. Well, I think I'm at my limit on friends, but you can follow it. And then, you know, always my email, monsters@flash.net. But I am making progress, guys. I am making progress. Real happy about that. Pretty soon, you guys will be having your busts, and I'm so glad of that. And also remember, the next thing you get from me, $50 off. Okay? Everybody have a great Memorial Day. This has been the Fiendish Dr. Phil Nichols from the lab.